up, world? How you doing? How's everyone this evening? I hope you all had a wonderful week and you're ready for this episode of According to Sacha podcast. You know, we're here with you every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we always are bringing some new guests on, some exciting guests actually. And I know tonight is a special night because this is part of the 1 year anniversary, and so I have Coach B back with us again. 1 year ago, you guys. This time last year, she was our probably third guest on the show. So she's back. She's going to drop some gems and everything. So we're going to welcome her up in a little bit. But you know what we got to do? We have to follow, and share. Follow, and share all of our platforms. They are all scrolling down at the bottom. But, you know, we're right here with you guys on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. And for the audio version, we're on Spotify video, Spotify audio, and iHeart, Amazon, Google Podcasts. The list goes on. You see it down at the bottom. So I just want to say to everyone who are watching now and who will watch or will listen, thank you so much for all of your support. Everything that you do for this platform here helps to launch everyone else out there that's been on our show. And we want to continue to introduce new people to you and have you to meet them and all that good stuff. And that's how we grow. That's how we build. We build as a team. And thank you for being a part of my team. And so let me see, what other announcements do I have for you guys? I try to keep it short because, I want to kind of get into tonight's episode. But I do have one sponsor. And, I'm published again, you guys. And so I'm just going to throw this up here while I'm talking. So I'm published again. So I'm part of an anthology, and it's called Own It. It is Own It. So how many of y'all think about what you need to own, what you need to own as far as your superpower, your identity? We're going to get into that tonight. And then we're going to, think about the different things that makes you stand proud, makes you, you overcome a lot of challenges. How did that build your confidence and everything? So look out for the book. Actually, you can pre-order. I'm going to have all those things set up on my website and give you the links, and that way you go ahead and pre-order. But we do have a major launch. So our launch is going to be in the DR. That's right, in the DR, you guys. Don't get it twisted. I'll be back in the DR in September. So you have 2 opportunities to be with me down in the DR. And so on end of April, the 26th through the 30th, we're going to be in Santo Domingo and at the Emotions Resort. And we're kicking off this book launch right down there in the DR. And we want you guys to come down there with us. And in that way, we have workshops, we have speakers, we have, just celebrating the whole book and all the authors that are in it. And you're going to see some of the authors a little bit later this month. And I'm going to have them on my show as well. And get to talk about their stories and everything that makes this book what it is. And so I just want to kind of touch on that. But like I said, I'm not going to be too long with all the announcements, but I am going to play our sponsor, and then I'm going to bring up Coach B, Brandi Brown, to drop some wisdom nuggets about identity, about habits, all those things. So if you are struggling with the process within yourself, whatever it is, personal development, business, how to get into the business, how to get out of your own head, all those things, you have an identity crisis, whatever it is, you got habits you got to break and all that stuff. Like, this is the conversation you want to get into right now, tonight, on this show, according to Sacha podcast with Brandi, and you want to get in this conversation. So go ahead, make sure you throw in the chat that you're here, say hello, what's up, everything. And then let's get some things going to help you out. It's the new year. We're 2 months in, about to be 3. And so you still got time to make some changes. But anyway, we can go ahead and hear our sponsor, and I'm going to be back with Brandi. What's up, Brandi?
Hey, what's going on, Sasha?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to be on this show and seeing all the amazing things you are doing and have done within just this past year. It is outstanding.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for being a part of the journey. We were here last year this time.
Hmm.
Um, you were starting out in your coaching business and everything. You're growing strong yourself, workshops, webinars, speaking engagements, everything. And I just want to pause right here real quick. So, you guys, this is how we uplift each other. When we watching
Hmm.
people grow, don't be afraid to just always like give them their roses, and it goes both ways. So, hey, Brandi, you getting your roses tonight.
Well,
So,
thank you. Thank you.
you're welcome. And so I love everything that you're doing. And thank you so much for being on the show once again. This is our 1 year. This is, according to Sasha's, 1 year anniversary. And this is our anniversary show together.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. And you have a birthday coming up too. So happy early birthday.
Oh man, got a little bit of time. Let me see August, but trust
Oh,
me,
August. Oh, okay, okay.
you're not gonna see me because I'm in Greece,
I
honey.
don't know why I was thinking your birthday was like right around the
Mm.
corner for some reason.
I sure wish it was because
You'd be in
I'm
Greece.
starting preparing because I'm bringing in 40 right because I know who I am.
I know that's
Honey,
right. I
yeah,
know that's right.
it's gonna
But
be
what
bomb.
since we're on that, and since this is a whole new year, and I know we have a lot of new people watching us, you know who you are. Let's tell everybody else who is Coach B, Brandi Brown.
Oh, Coach B is an identity transformation coach. I decided to get into this field because I was one who lost my identity. And so I said, once I find it and once I figure out how to find it, I'm going to help women do the same because you are more than your husband's wife or your children's mom. Is so much more to you than just that. And so I said, I'm going to help them.
Yeah, that's good. That's wonderful. And that's a thing that is well needed. I know everyone needs that, but like you said, you just touched on especially women
Mm-hmm.
because we can't lose ourselves in everything
Wait.
that we do. Whether we're working, whether we're, in the families and our spouses and everything else, because we learn to put ourselves on a back burner and don't choose us first. So
Mm-hmm.
why do you think it's so easy for
Mm.
anyone, especially women, to get in that place?
Because it's a learned behavior, like you just mentioned. It's a learned behavior we are taught when we're younger, whether it's through the TVs or through our parenting or mentors we've seen. You take care of your spouse, you take care of the house, you take care of the children. Uh, Even back in the day, you're home. You're not supposed to, own anything. You're not supposed to have a business. You're not supposed to have a voice. And so when that is programmed into your head, and it can bring on depression even when you start to do something. Like I started the military and I thought I was going to retire in 20 years. That wasn't the plan. And so after I got out after 14 years, I was lost. I'm like, okay, now who am I? Now
Mhm.
I'm just mom, I'm just wife, I'm just a friend, I'm there for everybody. Meanwhile, inside I am dying and depressed and hurt and like, what do I do now? But
Mhm.
they didn't teach me, you can start your own business, turn your pain into your superpower, you
Mhm.
know, work that thing. I had to learn that, but you can't learn that unless you are walking in a form of confidence and having the courage to do so. But that goes back to what we mentioned before, habits. If you're not changing your habits, the way you think, the way you're maneuvering, you're not going to move forward. That's just plain and
Mhm.
simple.
Yeah, and I think that so many people would say, "Oh yeah, I'm trying to make a change here. I'm trying to make a change there." But true change really happens when you no longer think about that old thing and go back to it. So
Mhm.
what are some good ways to, start that process of even breaking a habit?
Well, for one, you have to focus on changing the right thing.
Mhm.
And I always use the example of weight because it's the practical, thing to use. So, okay, I want to change my weight. Instead of focusing on I want to change how I feel, you're focusing on changing the wrong thing. So the outcome is, okay, I want to change. I want to go down 3 sizes. But for one, you're not changing the right thing and you're not doing it the right way because we're starving ourselves. Or, going on these million diets. Okay, but then once the outcome happens, okay, you say you get down to 2 sizes. Now what? You didn't make it a lifestyle, so you're back to where you're going to go back to where you started from. So you have to focus on changing the right thing, which is changing how I feel. I want more energy. I want to have rest at night. I want to be able to have my blood sugars regulated and my, all that good stuff. And so focusing on changing that versus changing how I look, change how you feel, and then do it the right way. Figure out what is the right way for you to do this thing. Instead of starving myself, I'm going to learn my body type so that I know what foods are good for me. Because for my body type, I'm supposed to be a vegetarian. I'm not going to be a vegetarian, but I will minimize some of, the red meats that I eat. But there are books. Like I have a book at home, Eating for Your Body Type. And that's what it's called. Eating for Your Body Type and your blood type.
Yes.
I'm sorry, not your body type. Eating for your blood type. Yeah. And so go through that thing, you'll see like, okay, now this is really doing it the right way. Changing the right way. Changing the right thing the right way.
Yeah. Yo, you just reminded me about that book. Because I'm aware of it too. Like, oh, let me go back to that book. Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense. So, I'm sitting here thinking, I always hear, let's kind of go into like the busy moms. We have these moms who have children and the children start to, grow up and they're getting out the house. And, that mom has always, surrounded their life with their children's life. Like I've seen some women just be in that position where I don't know what else to do next. Like my child, however many kids they may have had, but they're all grown. That last kid could be going to college. It's like, what am I going to do now? So what advice would you give that woman if we have mompreneurs out here watching or just mothers who are not in business, but just have to deal with that transition? What kind of advice would you give them?
I would tell them for one to start. You have to start. Once you realize and recognize, okay, now I'm in this position. I don't have to take care of my kids. Maybe I'm retired. Now what do I do? Figure out. I always tell my clients, ask the question, what do people ask you most? What do people ask you most about? And so if it's hair tips, maybe you start something in hair. If it's cooking, maybe you start your cookbook. Build it, figure it out what it is that people come to you most about, and you build on that because that is gonna be your passion. Because people always come to me asking me, they just vent. Like people just always come all my life. And I didn't realize that it was a gift until, of course, I got older. But all my life, I've just attracted people. And so I said, okay, what can I do? But it wasn't until I went through a pain that I figured out how to use that pain and turn that into powering other people who are going through that same pain. And so realizing what it is, asking yourself, what am I good at? What is my thing? What brings me joy? If I had no limits, if I didn't have to worry about money or anything, what would make me truly happy and bring me joy to wake up every day? You ask that question and you start from there.
That's really good. What brings you joy? I think a lot of people don't really think of that in that manner because, we think about the limitations all the time. How far we could go, what we could do, our money is not too long or whatever it is. But think about the joyful part in it because there's still joy even in the limitations.
Yeah.
But you take that and you empower it. You power it up and make that to be more of the limitation. It stands out. And so, how would that, so I know you were talking about habits, but how would that really coincide with like identity? Like the identity problems that, that habits stem from or the habits are formed from.
And so it's like telling yourself, or I always tell myself, I'm trying to get out of it, that I have a bad memory. I have a bad memory. I have a bad memory. And so my brain is going to adopt that I have a bad memory. So it's not going to want to retain anything because I done told myself this for so long, it became a part of who I am, my identity. So until you start to change those things and stop telling yourself, I'm too tired, or oh, that's too hard, or I'm not good at math, or you can do anything. Like anybody can do anything. It's just a matter of how much more work you're going to have to put into that thing, or sometimes it may come easy for you. But you can do anything. But it becomes so automatic. Now, I'm not a morning person. You tell yourself, and it's a bad habit, but it's so automatic that we don't think that that's a bad habit that we have created within ourselves, which then forms our identity. So now you get an opportunity to go speak somewhere and you're grunting because you got to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning because you already told yourself, I'm not a morning person. And so it starts to shape who you are and how you maneuver. We have to start speaking life, and you have to speak life into yourself, and all those things are going to either shoot your identity up or pull it down. It just depends. Like, we're all going to change. You're not going to be the same person next year, regardless of the effort that you put into it or the non-effort that you put into it. So put some effort into it so it could change for the better rather than worse.
Exactly. That's really good. And when I'm listening to you talk, and how you're saying what other people are saying, they can't do this, or I'm not this, or all this other things. But it goes back to what you said about having to speak life into our lives. And a lot of times we don't really realize how powerful words are. We are creative beings. We have creative power. So every time we open our mouth with some word, the form of a word, and not even understanding where that word really came from,
Right.
the root of the word, and we're saying these things and we're putting that, whether it's a positive connotation on it or is a negative part to it. But either way, we're saying it, and that kind of fuels our actions in a sense, subconsciously. And then it goes into a conscious state. And so when we're in that place, about the words, like what type of things could people do? Like what words can people switch out? Those negative words for something positive.
So it's like, okay, I'm saying, somebody said, oh, I'm too dark. Shoot, I'm glowing. I'm sexy. Or I'm broke. Oh, my funds are limited. I'm on a budget. I gotta plan a little bit better. Oh, I'm too tired. Man, challenge accepted. I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, or anything in the positive mind frame. Like me and myself telling myself, oh, my memory is terrible. No, I just got to work a little bit harder to retain the information, or I have to write it down. I have to put it in my calendar, whatever you have to do to remember this is what you're going to do. And for me, it's writing it down, because when I write it down, if I read it more than twice, it's going to stick in my brain. And so, but that's making a conscious effort. We so lazy in this new generation. We don't want to work. We want to see what someone's doing and what someone has, and think that, okay, when I try it one time, if it don't work, I quit. Right. Like, that's not how it works. that's not how it works. If you would have done your show one season and said, oh, screw it.
Right.
Where would that opened the doors, I'm sure, for you to many different avenues, having that consistency, but you made it a point to choose yourself. And to choose that I'm going to do this regardless of my bad habits. I'm going to just turn them good. You just turn them good. What they say, it takes 21 days to form a new habit. Just work on it. If you have that belief, you can do anything. But if you don't believe that you can remember, if you don't believe that you can be a millionaire, if you don't believe that you can feel healthier and eat better, as part of your lifestyle and not just a diet. I don't like the word diet. It's temporary. It's so temporary. And so it has to become a part of your identity, and then it becomes automatic. So when you wake up in the morning, like making a bed, that's a quick, less than 5-minute thing to do. But a lot of people I ain't got time to do that. Less than
Ain't
5
lie.
minutes. And I tell my clients, if it takes you less than 5 minutes to do a thing, do it. If it takes
Mm-hmm.
less than 5 minutes, and it'll just be automatic. You'll end
Yeah.
up 21 days later, roll out the bed. You're just gonna make it just because it's automatic now.
Yeah.
Now it's a part of who you are. This is a part of my identity. Even when it comes to organization and everything like that, you continue to do something, you get better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, the laundry clothes after it comes out the dryer and you put it in a basket and it sits in the basket. It sits in the basket and
I've
you
been
pull
doing
out what you
real
need.
I've been doing real good with laundry for the past couple of weeks. I said, listen, I can't keep doing this because I still got little kids in my house. And
Mm-hmm.
so doing all this laundry and then it piling up and this is exhausting. It's exhausting. So I'm
As
trying
long
to
as it's
do
out the way.
once one bucket is full, wash it, fold it, put it up. It's gonna take
Right.
me less than an hour to get that done. So just do it or else. I just put
Right.
myself in the mind frame of you're gonna wait till it gets to 5 buckets and then you're gonna be sitting here pouting. So just get it done.
Yeah.
I'm
And
working on that.
me too, me too. I mean, because it's like even the other morning I had made a smoothie and I felt so, I mean, something simple as a smoothie. I've been trying to accomplish that for the past, I don't know how many days. But this day I was like, yes, I did it. But it's like that's something simple. But think about how many times you try something and you actually do it and you get it right, according to your standards.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move forward and it's like, okay, the next day and the next day and the next day, you're doing the same thing and how good that makes you feel.
Yeah.
Just like making the bed, just like cleaning your car. I mean, your car drives differently when it's clean. It's just like
Right. It's
everything.
like when you put clothes on. Depending on what
Exactly.
you put on, you're gonna walk a little bit differently depending
Hmm.
on how you look. So,
It's
honey.
everything. But I was gonna say, one of the things that you had mentioned, like when you write stuff down to help
Mhm.
you remember. And how true is it? Because I know you have your psychology degree as well. And so, how true is it that when you do write things down or when you do read, it helps you to retain better as well?
Oh, it's factual. That is proven because
Hmm.
you're focused on it. If
Hmm.
somebody tell me something, it's probably gonna go in one ear out the other because
Hmm.
it's taking on so much. You're thinking about so many things that if you are not, I don't want to say you aren't important, but that, you know, if you're not that important, it's not gonna stick. Or if that information is not pertinent to what I'm doing in that moment, it's not going to stick. So
Hmm.
when I write stuff down, that's why people journal. When
Yeah.
I write stuff down, whether I'm journaling or whether I'm studying or whether I am just trying to plan a trip. I have to write everything down because it's going. I don't know why it sticks in the brain. It just sticks in the brain
Yeah.
because when you see it, like I can read this piece of paper, I could go turn my head, but I can literally see the words on the paper that I wrote, and so that
Hmm.
helps me to remember it because I can picture it. I can picture the words. And some
Yeah.
people they don't need that. Like my brother, he has an elephant brain. He can remember stuff when we were like 7, and I'd be like, I don't know who that teacher was. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
I
have to
know.
know who you are. You have to know yourself and be honest with yourself.
Hmm.
And for a long time, I used to be like, oh, I'm gonna remember that. You wake up from a dream, you're like, oh, that was good. To me, in my head, I'd be like, I'm gonna remember it in the morning. I'll write it
Hmm.
down when I wake up for good. It's gone.
It's
Like, dang,
gone.
I know myself well enough to know that I should have wrote that down.
Right. It's like keep that journal right beside your bed. As soon as you wake up, oh, what is it? And I mean, it's so easy. I mean, because like, especially if you are somebody who's used to, have that mindset where you can remember easy and it all comes back to you easy. It's like, but you still want to write it down because there comes a time where you might be too busy with something or you have a lot going on and that thought can leave you. And when you want it right then and there, you definitely want to
Yeah,
be able to
because that
write it.
thought may not be for then. It may be for a year from now. And
Mm-hmm.
so you want to don't self sabotage yourself
Yeah.
by not putting all that effort into yourself and
Mm-hmm.
what you're worth. Like,
Yeah.
listen, this is going to be a hallmark statement. I'm going to write this down. I don't know how and when I'm going to use it, but I know it's going to come back. And I look back in journals I had from back in like 2010 and like, wow, that was good. I'm going to implement that somehow into what I'm doing now. Because you just never know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that reminds me, like, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, there was a Facebook memory. Some people use their Facebook for, just put good things out there, inspirational affirmations, whatever. But there was something I put out there. I think it was like maybe 2013 or whatever it was. But it was a memory that came back around. And I was just like, ooh, you talking to me? It's just like, it was so relevant right now into this day.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, I said, well, almost like that me was putting something out there for me to realize and to remember that this is what you still need to keep you going. And, and it's just like I said, it's the power of the words, it's the power of your thoughts, and the power of everything that you really put out there, and the repetition of it and the consistency helps you to lock in a lot better and a lot easier, but you have to keep going at it and keep going. So
you have to.
Definitely so. But before we leave out of here, it was another question I wanted to ask you. You mentioned about focus and focusing on everything that you do. No, that's not even a question. It was about identity. So let me go back to that one first. So when it comes down to identity, and you said you were giving an example about maybe if you feel like you're not important, you were trying not to say, if you're not important.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of times people do feel like they're not important. So they will put other things ahead of them or other people ahead of them in that identity state that they're in, And I just want to kind of nail that down a little bit, because it's too many people that feel that way. We can see it every day with people that we come across, or some inkling there that says, yeah, I don't feel that important. I'm just going ahead and let that person be, or I'm going to just let this happen, or whatever. Like, what would you say to that person if they are feeling that way?
It all goes back to your superpower, because when you know that you have a thing, you have that fire, you have that gift that only you can do your way, because there's so many people out here doing the same thing, but nobody's going to do it like you. But once you get the confidence in knowing who you are, that's why your identity is so important. You can be able to say, okay, I'm not going to keep being pulled into your vision. I'm going to be pushed into my own. Yeah. And so for a long time, and it's not to say that, oh, I can't support people or I can't collab with people, but those people who are pulling me are pushing me into my purpose at the same time. And so you got to be able to cut those people off who just pulling you and pulling you and pulling you, because they know that you're not going to have no resist. You're not going to resist them. You're going to do whatever for them, no matter what you got going on, because they're not going to see that. All they're going to see is, oh, this person can help me do this. Can you do this flyer for me? Or can you do this video for me? Or can you take these photos for me? Instead of saying, you need to start a business because you're real good, or putting that work out there after you do it for them. Now they promote it, but if they're not pushing you, stop letting them pull you.
Yeah.
That's just plain and simple. I had to get to that point, like, you know what? I'm done being pulled. If you're not pushing me and we're not pushing each other, you got to cut it off. And sometimes it gets to that place of solitude when you're by yourself. That's the best time for you to, that's the time where God, he speaks to me, when I am done with the distractions and done with the people who are users, because they're out there, and then I can find my thing. And then you'll have people, once those old people get out, new people are going to come in, and those people are going to believe in you, and they're going to push you and promote you. But you have to be able to let go of the people that's pulling you for their own purpose and their own reason. But you're not going to see that if you don't cut them off.
And the more you was talking about that, the more I just kept thinking, when people pull, and you think about it being a rubber band, when you pull that rubber band, you keep pulling and pulling it. If you cut it, the thing that's in it is going to make it propel, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about it like that and you cut those people off that's always been pulling you, but you're attentive to what the things you need to do and be purposeful about it, it's only going to shoot you further into what you
Yes.
have to do because you let go of all of those things. And and I'm just like, because I know I've been there myself and in that type of thing. And but I see myself now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, if it wasn't for me, being that person, helping, doing this and doing that, then I wouldn't have known my own power the way I know it now, to where I could say, phew, I'm out here, I'm doing my thing.
Right.
And and just keep going forward in that. So that's very powerful. But can you still hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, because my screen, I don't see myself moving anymore. But on that note, I got a delay over here.
I see you.
Um,
You're moving.
so, but yeah, but this has been really, really good. So, what would be your final words, these words of wisdom that you would love to give everyone out here?
I would say ask yourself two questions. Who do you want to be? And say it's a millionaire. Then you ask your question, how would a millionaire move? How would a millionaire act? How would a millionaire collab with other people? Whether if you want to be a real estate agent, how does a real estate agent move? Ask yourself, what do you want to be, and how does that person move? What does that look like, for you? Or if you see somebody else that's doing it how you're doing it, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Get around some people that's doing something. Don't be the smartest person in your group, because if you are, that means no one is pushing you to your greatness.
Love it. I love it. I love it. All of that is so wonderfully said. Oh my goodness. You guys, I know that you are watching and that you loved every bit of what you heard. I want you to make sure you go ahead and follow Coach B, follow Brandi. She's on Facebook, she's on Instagram. She has workshops, webinars. I think you have a webinar coming up soon, a virtual
I
webinar.
do on the
Yeah.
21st
Go ahead
from
and plug it.
7 to 8.
Yeah, 21st, 7 to 8, huh?
Mhm.
Okay. So there you go, you guys. Make sure you sign up for her virtual webinar. It's free.
Mhm.
And you can get more nuggets. You can find out ways that you could work with her. Um, any other next things for you coming up other than the webinar?
Other than the webinar, working on my book, and I am collabing with somebody for the summertime. We're going to do a weekend retreat for enriching, mind, body, soul, spirit. And
All
so
right.
that will be on the lookout.
All right. See, that's why y'all gotta follow her. Keep up. She got some amazing things coming out this year. And but definitely sign up for the virtual webinar. And Brandi, thank you so much for being here with us and just
Thank
gracing
you
us with your
for
presence.
having me on
You,
According to Sacha. I feel like a
that's right.
superstar.
You are. You are. We're all superstars over here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Well, thank you everyone for watching tonight. Make sure you continue to like, follow, and share all of our platforms. Like this episode, share it to everyone that you know, and have people to follow Coach B and continue to be here with us. We'll be back again next Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with another special guest. And until then, you guys, you have a wonderful weekend. And remember that in everything you do, be great and command your day. Bye.
Bye.